Hey everyone, welcome back to Codzilla. Today we are again back with another problem solving question. So let's dive into the today's question. Today's question will be on LeetCode. So we will get a streak also on LeetCode. Along with that, today's problem we will be doing it in two parts basically. And after that, tomorrow video will be optimized solution of it, or we can say the real solution what interviewer wants. Because the motto of this series is not just to give you the solution and then just end it off. It is to tell you like how can you can approach to the brute force at first. After that you can go to bit more optimal and then to the optimized one, like so that's how we will be solving off. So firstly, let's understand the question which we have for today. So today's question is on lead code first and last position. Let me maximize the screen, take a screenshot, go back, and here we are. Now let's go to the not lead code. Please sit here and try to understand what we have to do, what approach we can follow for this specific problem. Now let's get into it. So the problem statement is problem number is 34. Find the first and last position of an element in a sorted array. So if we have a sorted array already, in that specific sorted array, we need to find first and last position possible. So uh, for this, they have given some of the constraints also which we have to follow up. So now let's get into those. So it is given that an array of integer nums is given to us, which is in non-decreasing, means it is in ascending order. We can say it means array is already sorted. And whenever, like it is a tip for you, whenever you get in a question like array is sorted, search, like you have to think about binary search for sure. There might be some clues of using binary search, true pointer, something like that in these kind of problem statements. After that, you have to find the starting and ending position of the given target value. So they will be giving an array to us. Along with that, there will be a target element which will be given to us, and we have to solve it off. We have to just give the index of the first and last occurrences of the index which we have. Now let's get into the other things. If target is not found, we have to return -1 and -1. And we must write algorithm of we go of logarithmic time complexity. Just not think about it right now. We will be firstly following the unoptimized solution, because if you directly jump into the logarithmic uh, in interview, it might happen like if a question is given to you, you might think of and it is a good practice also to go for an optimal solution or think about optimal solution, but thinking about the optimal solution at the beginning might cause issues, because some questions they might not be that much easy, which you can directly go with the optimal solution. Because while doing the optimization, you have to go to the best solution at the first instance. That is not a good practice. We say it like it is not a good practice. Go for a brute force first. If you have encountered the problem for the first time, there are higher chances you will be firstly going for the brute force instead of just thinking about optimal solution. So we will be going for the unoptimized only. That will be brute force, and let's see if it works or not. And the upcoming video we will be doing the optimal also. So don't take tension about that. Now let's get into the problem statement. I think you have understood the problem statement quite nicely. Array is given to us. Target element is 8. Now if I will give indexes to it, it will be 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. In total, 5 indexes are there. Target element is 8. So first occurrence is of 8 is at index number 3. And the second occurrence, or we can say the last occurrence only, is at fourth index. So we will be taking 3 and 4 and returning it off. Quite simple, quite simple. In the problem statement given here also, if target element is 6 and that is not present, then we have to return -1 and -1. Quite easy. So problem is quite easy. Now let's understand the intuition which we can follow. So first of all, if you are solving this problem for the first time, you can see that, okay, if just suppose if this array is something like 5, 7, 7, 8, 8, 8, 8, 10, 11. So if this sort of array is given to you, I have just modified added some of the values inside this array. Now in this sort of array, if target element is still our 8, so what we have to return it off. So first of all, if I give the indexes, basically 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 8 indexes are in total here, and the answer which you have to give is 3 and 6, because these are the first occurrence of our target element, and this is the last occurrence of our target element. And this approach is possible only when we have the sorted array. And they have mentioned here clearly the element is sorted where, where they have clearly mentioned element is sorted here. So if this condition is met, now what we can think of, if we start our one pointer from here and then start iterating to this side, and whenever we found the first value of 8, we will just think it is the first occurrence. We will iterate from here. Let's suppose I is a pointer which will iterate from here. It will check in 8, like, okay, whenever it will reach our target. So if I will write a for loop from I till the n in the size, and if any of the number in our target reaches our target, in that case we have to return that index, or we can say we have to make our first as that index. Okay, basically, and then we can back off. Along with that, for the last occurrence, just suppose if we start iterating from last, and whenever we found first 8 there from the last, while iterating from the last, if j pointer is here, if we start iterating from the last, and then we get our 8, the target element basically, then we will make that 8, like it will be like for loop from n to 0, and here if we will find the value of that target, that specific target which we have, then we will what we will be doing, that will be our last occurrence. So there will be two cases. One is for first occurrence, one is for last occurrence, and if I have to sum it up, it will be like iterating from 0 to n, we will get our first occurrence, and from n to 0, we'll be getting our last occurrence. And also in a case, if just suppose there is like this 8, then here is the 8, 11, 23, and target element is still 8, t is equals to 8. In that case, what will happen? What is the first and last occurrence? If you can tell me, uh, first occurrence while iterating from here, whenever we find 8, we find 8 here at the 2th index. So 2 is the first occurrence of it. Then we will break off from that array. After that, we will iterate from this side, and then we will try to find out 8. We will get to first and last occurrence. Obviously, first and last occurrence occurred at the same time. So that is the intuition which we can follow here. Now let's get into the lead code and try to solve it out. Like how we can solve this. So first of all, we have to write first, which will be initialized to -1. Then we have a last, which will be also initialized to -1. So that in a hypothetical case, if there is not target element which is present, in that case we have to return -1 and -1. So it will be way more simpler for us. If in the array target element is not present, return -1 and -1, and then end it off. First for loop which we have to write from int I equals to 0, it will be going with nums dot size minus nums dot size and then I plus plus. And in this case, what we have to do, we have to just write one condition. If just suppose the nums, any of the index from the starting comes out to be target, in that case, we have to take the first and name it as I, means the index which we have, and then break our array. So what this break statement will be doing is it will be just breaking off once the condition is met, and that's all. Now I just take a copy of this, similar copy. I didn't change anything out here. I will go here. Now I will iterate from back. So I will take pointer will be pointing towards nums, starting from the nums dot size -1, and j pointer will be going somehow greater than or equals to 0, because we are iterating from the backwards, then we have to do j minus minus, and instead of arr5 we will do nums dot j, means array only, and if it reaches the target then we have to take last as our j and then break it off. So it will be like iterating from the first, if we get a number first, make it first element, iterating from the last, if we get a last element, just make it last, and then at the end we have to return them first and last, first comma last. Now let's run this off and see if it works or not. I get got accepted, brother. And the time complexity, if you can analyze the time complexity, we were iterating twice, so it will be 2n. Time complexity for this particular solution will be 2n, and that's how we can solve it off. Like you can go for the solutions also. There is a solution section here. You can go for find a solution which you will get probably the optimal solution, way better solution for. But for the brute force, uh, you can try to follow this approach in the first term. Let's submit this off and see if it got accepted or not. All they have said the time complexity we need is logarithmic of n, but it will get accepted quite easily. So after this, like brute force, they will say, interviewer will say, can you optimize this? Right now, the time complexity is big of n basically, but we say it is big of 2, and if we have to say it quite clearly, because two for loops are iterating from first to last, and we are taking the worst case. Now let's do some of the optimization step on it. Uh, what if I will use a single for loop here instead of using two for loops? What if I will make a for loop from in I equals to 0 is less than nums dot size this one, plus plus. So this step is just an addition from my side. There is nothing like no big difference will be coming up for the time complexity if you go just by the theoretical ways only. If you are just a numeric person, like you just understand time complexity as 2n and then logarithmic of n, in that case, it will be not a big difference for you, because the previous approach also which we have followed, that also gave us the solution. And that also gave us in the time complexity of big O of n, but in actually it is 2n. Adding bit of the optimization, at least if we can't go for the logarithmic, let's add something which can help us to do it. Now we will be using only single for loop, so the time complexity will be big of n. Although there is one more case, the time complexity of previous problem is also big of n, but just I'm saying in the interview, if you have to sit, then you have to tell the interviewer it will be a good impression. Although now let's get into it. Now, if here also we'll be writing the same condition, if nums ith index is equals to our target, in that case, we will be writing two conditions. If our first is equals to minus one, in that case, we have to make first equals to ith index and last equals to ith index. And then just simply turn it off. Now I will just directly run it. I will just directly run it, and you might get confused. Okay, we are getting runtime error here. Why to do over n minus one? Now let's try to uh, go here. Now it got accepted. Now let's submit this also and see if it works. Mm, it might take some time, and you might have got confused, like why is it, why we need to do this? It also got accepted. Okay, so both of the problem statements got accepted. This that's a time complexity one for loop is less used here. Now let me take the screenshot and explain you how this approach is helping us to solve the problem statement. If I will just be here, and then we just write it off. So right now, what we will be doing is just first, if we take the case only of this array 57781. So it will be 5, 7, 8, 8, 8, 9, 10. If this is the array, now let's get start with the iteration. First iteration 5 is it equals to the target element. This is the main core of our problem statement. Is 5 the element? No. 7 the element? No. 8 is equals to target? Yes. So 8 will enter inside it, and right now, if according to the if condition, our first is equals to minus 1. So our first is equals to minus 1, then we will initialize our first also to I. It means our first will become equals to I, and I right now is 0, 1, 2, so it will be 2. And along with that, it is the last condition is not in the else one. So our last will also become 2. So if in a case, just suppose if 8 and 8, these two 8s are not present and there is something like 1 and 1, In that case, our first and last position, those are already done. So we can just end it off. It will end it off. But if we go for the 8 and 8 situation only, if there are 8 and 8 present, then see what happens in the next iteration. Next iteration is our nums I is equals to target. Right now I is 3. Is nums I equals to target? Yes, it is equals to target. But is our if in our if statement is our first is equals to -1? No, it is right now -2. So it will not. But our last will automatically get updated to ith, means our last will become 8. So our first will not change, but our last will get changed. In next iteration, it will become it will be at fourth index. Is our first is at -1? No, it is at 2. So we will not change this, but for the last we will change it. Like earlier, it might have become 3, then it will become 4. So that's how we will be doing. Here it will become 3, and then it will become 4. So ultimately, we will be getting up the solution as 4. So that's how this approach will help us to reach the solution in big O and time complexity. But for the logarithmic, we'll be solving it tomorrow. So follow the series. Here's the problem statement. Here's the solution. Just go check out. I will be pasting the link of this problem statement in the description. Go and try to solve this problem statement. So that's all for this video, and that's all for the today. I hope you will solve this, and that's all. Thank you. Bye bye.